Joseph here, Vets Haul Junk Removal, Stafford, Virginia. Hope wherever you are, you're staying busy and making money in junk removal. I just broke away from the guys who are completing our morning project. I'm driving about 4 miles away to give an estimate to a potential client. You know, I decided that I'm going to do something a little bit different to help a lot of the new guys learn how to estimate. And that's the greatest challenge that I see in creating and growing a successful junk removal business. I get a lot of calls from you guys who are just starting out, and you know, junk removal in and of itself is extremely simple. Where a lot of us in junk removal fail, myself included, because I don't always get the job, is that we either bid too high or we bid too low and we end up working for free, and nobody wants to do that. So I decided that I'm gonna every so often put out a video where I take you along with me to a potential project, and we talk about some of the considerations that go into estimating that particular project. And I encourage those who have been in junk removal for a long time to post what they would bid a potential project at, in order to help those of you who are just getting into junk removal feel more comfortable when it comes to bidding a project. And I haven't really decided what I'm going to name this series yet, but I might name it something like Junk Removal Estimate Training #1 or something like that. So this is going to be #1. And what we got is a client who called us up last night and has a above ground swimming pool, which is really easy, and then a deck that looks to be about 2.5 feet off the ground. The deck doesn't look too large. I asked him to send me over images, not so that I can give him an estimate based on the images, but just so that I can get kind of an idea as to what the project might entail. And that brings to my attention some of the things that I think about when I give an estimate. So for this particular project, it's a deck. I think the first thing that sticks out in my mind is, does the customer want us to dig out the concrete that's underground supporting the main beams? Okay, that's going to be one of my first considerations, because that can be a lot of work. Are you going to dig it out by hand? Are you going to hook it up to your truck and pull it out? Do you have a truck strong enough to pull it out? Are you going to use some type of heavy equipment to remove the beams that have the concrete attached to them underground? If the concrete is going to be dug out by hand, that's going to require a lot of manpower. You'll be on site for a lot longer of a period. And then we move up to the actual deck itself. How are you going to take that apart? I've heard some guys, they sledge it if the pieces are not too long. Other guys say use a chainsaw and just cut it up. I would probably go with a sawzall with a wood and metal blade. So there's also that consideration. Do you have the specific hand equipment to be able to dismantle or take apart this deck? I think a sawzall is good. I don't think you need an expensive sawzall. I think you need good quality blades, but I've heard of guys having great success using just a cheap sawzall but really good quality blades. So that's another consideration. Another major consideration, guys, is proximity. How close can you bring your truck, trailer, dump truck to the actual project? Because if you have to hand carry or wheelbarrow carry individual pieces of wood, it's going to take you a little bit longer. You're going to be on site for a lot longer of a period of time as well. And time is money. So prime situation is you want to be able to bring your rig right up next to the project. On top of that, do you have the larger type of equipment to be able to carry, to transport stuff like this? Because decking can be really heavy. So if you're operating with utility trailers, are you going to be taking minimal loads to the landfill because your trailer can't carry so much? And that being said, how far is the landfill? Because you don't want to be carrying heavy loads multiple trips to a landfill if it's quite a distance. If you have a dump trailer and it has a higher weight capacity, you might be able to get it all in one shot. If you have a box truck, you can probably knock out a large portion of that project in one trip. So you need to take that into consideration as well. Top of all that, guys, how many men are you gonna need? Typically, I like to operate with just 2 guys. I think 2 guys can pretty much knock out just about any type of junk removal job of this sort. I've even tackled projects like this by myself. If I'm able to get my rig really close to the project, I've done it myself if it was a small deck. So those are just some of the considerations that go into estimating for a deck. And on top of the deck that we're estimating, there's also an above ground pool. I really do believe that the best tool to dismantle a pool is going to be a saw saw. Just cut it up. Your dump fees, guys. What are your dump fees? I'm really lucky in that my dump fees here in Stafford, Virginia are $20 a ton. So I can take a hell of a lot of weight, and I don't have to pay a whole lot. Some of you guys around the nation, I think in California, you guys are like at the $80 range or something like that. I could be wrong. Maybe I've gotten that mistaken, but that also needs to be taken into consideration as well. So, as I was saying, for those of you who have been in business for a long time and really got your estimate game down, share with the rest of us what you would bid on this particular job. And if you don't mind sharing your dump fees as well, that would be great. And if I missed a consideration in this estimate, please leave that in the comments as well. Like I said, guys, I'm going to continue to do something like this. I'm probably going to call it junk removal estimate training or something like that. I hope you get value from this. And I'm doing this just because I do get, like I said, a lot of calls from people who are new in junk removal who reach out to me and they're just like, hey, can you help me out with this? I don't know what to bid on this. And it's really hard when I'm trying to give you an estimate by watching the video that you've provided me. Guys, here we are at the project. You have a deck that's fallen apart here with additional wood and miscellaneous debris on top. This deck is about 18 by about 10. And I'll give you a look underneath, your typical structure underneath. And I'll take you around this side, give you a better view. Okay, so you got a good idea of what we're working here. There's the pool. The pool is about 25 by about 15, and it has water. I'll show you what's inside here. Nasty, mucky type of water. And I'm going to take a walk right over here, and I'm going to show you that we can back a trailer right up next to this particular project because we have gates here. Let's see if I can get a little higher. Step off my truck, give you a bird's eye view of what we have going on. So that's what we got right there. And think about some of the considerations that I talked about. You know, this is not large. This is a small project, but you would be best suited with a couple of men. You have close proximity. The wood's not going to be too heavy. It's rotting, so it should fall apart pretty easily. The customer does not want us to remove the concrete from underground. We're just going to cut off the support beams at ground level, and that's what you got. So for you that bid in the junk removal industry for a while, tell me what you would bid on this project. And for everybody else who's just starting out, guys, listen to what the business owners say and learn.